While we do the simple acts of hair, hand, or face washing, have you ever thought where the empty plastic bottle will end up after how long it has been used? 1, 10, 50, or even 100 years from now? Working in the beauty industry the last 12 years as a freelance stylist as well as an educator for John Paul Mitchell Systems, I have seen the amount of plastic waste that one can produce in both their professional and personal lives. I have also seen firsthand the innovative and efforts that some manufacturers are making in producing more eco-friendly packaging. Plastics not being easily biodegradable will have an impact on the bodies of water, their ecosystems, and in turn affect our food sources for generations to come. First, I will discuss a number of plastics that are discarded in the ocean yearly. Second, I will explain the effects on our large bodies of water. And finally, I will give a brief example of alternate forms of eco-friendly packaging that can help reduce waste. An extreme number of plastics are disposed into the oceans yearly. As noted in the Procedia Environmental Science Engineering Management study, globally more than 13 million tons of plastic are discarded into the ocean. Unfortunately, less than 30% of these wastes are recycled in comparison to the glass and aluminum counterparts. The growth of plastics has gone up exponentially since 1960, more than 20 times on a global scale, along with the cosmetic industry, with a yearly rate of 6.4%, as also noted in the Procedia Environmental Science Engineering and Management study. Now that we have a brief account of the amount of plastic waste disposed of, we will go over its environmental impacts. The large amount of plastics waste has a lasting impact on the ocean, their quality, and the ecosystem. It is becoming apparent, as quoted, it is becoming apparent that plastic ends up in huge quantities in the deepest part of the oceans, buried in the sediment on the seafloor, and caught like clouds of dust deep in the water column. Tons of plastic may have settled from the surface into the deep ocean since 1950. So this being said, what we see visually as far as pollution is only a small amount because most of it has settled down in the bottom of the ocean under the deep sediments. As quoted in the study from Stephen S. in 2020, a 2011 study examines plastics in fish in the northern Pacific Ocean. An estimated of 12,000 tons is ingested by them a year, in turn ending up in our food supply. What can happen though when the beauty industry and eco-conscious combine? Some manufacturers are designing innovative packaging that is more favorable to the environment. From the reference shelf, bioplastics are being made from materials that are biodegradable, bio-based, or both. There are some companies that we will use as an example here as John Paul Mitchell Systems that are now using eco-friendly sources to produce their packaging. Here we have an example of the life cycle of clean packaging. First, it would start as a sugarcane crop, which is the main primary source for the production of the plastics. So first it would start with the sugarcane the crops, which in turn actually cycle out the CO2 from the environment, so that is an environmentally friendly crop. In turn, at the factory, it produces ethanol, a renewable energy source that can be used as a clean energy. And then the plastics are then made into a production of clean polythene and green ethylene. So that is what ends up in the packaging. This packaging then is 100% recyclable and biodegrades within 5 years. So again, this is an example from Paul Mitchell Clean Beauty Packaging that helps reduce the greenhouse effect. Renewable resources are used as materials in production as well as a clean source of fuel. So this gives us clean production and easily biodegradable sources. Today I have discussed the effects of cosmetic plastics in our oceans and innovative packaging solutions. We know now that the extreme amounts of plastics discarded yearly, the effects of the pollution on oceans and its ecosystems, and examples of reinventing eco-friendly packaging. While making our daily purchases, we can now be more aware and keep in mind where the empty shampoo bottle will end up in the next 50 years.